Happy weekend, Jonathan Fibonojji. Welcome to the Animas River in beautiful Durango, Colorado. Of course, I don't have to make the intro every single time that I do a Fibonojji, but guess what? I love the four corners, and I guess I'm going to call this video, what do you want to call this? The closing time, there comes a time in every photographer, newbie comic, Jonathan Fibonojji is out of memory space. You're like, what? I knew it. I knew 74. I knew it. Here you go. Okay, so here you go. I ran out of memory space, 2805. There's a lot of pictures. Jonathan Fibonojji is going to share some picture time. Here's the thing. You got to be careful with long videos because nobody on YouTube likes long videos. Jerry Seinfeld, whom I have met. Is it whom or who? I don't know. But I met him in Oklahoma City, and he has a theory on social media. There's Jesus kind of hanging out with some sheep, and just boom, there you go. Jesus hanging out with sheep going, all right, Jonathan Fibonojji, keep going, I got you. 2798 out here in beautiful Durango, Colorado. Anyway, back to Jerry Seinfeld. He has this theory on social media that the longest video anybody should have is 5 minutes. So here you go, 2,800 pictures in less than 5 minutes. Can I do it? Is there anything that Jonathan Fibonojji cannot do? Well, there I go, taking a picture of Jesus Christ. It's really interesting because out here in beautiful Durango, Colorado, it has everything. They have a rodeo. I think it's kind of a fair that happens all the time, and there's nothing. There you go. Check this out. Just some of the beauty of that community. Now, it's not my community. These are kind of the Trump people. But, if we take the labels off and we just go, man, there's a beautiful community. And that's just as beautiful for some people as Jonathan Fibonojji and the beautiful Animas River. What would have happened if we took all the labels off and even called people by their first name? Just call me Jonathan. In fact, try it. Maybe the next time there's somebody you don't like, notice how you'll go to labels or objectify them in some way. And anyway, when I saw this picture of a non-white Hispanic boy hanging out with shepherd, I'm like, that's a picture of the Christ. Like Jonathan Fibonojji, I totally don't know what you're talking about. But guess what? You know what? It's okay. This channel is me just sharing. There you go. Here's a horse's ass, or I think it's a cow's ass or bull's ass. Anyway, I don't know who it is. Jonathan Fibonojji. Somebody once called me John Steers. It's Jonathan Spears. He's vacuuming a dog, or what do you call that? A cow. Literally vacuuming it, drying it off. There's the sheriff. Holy shit. He's watching me going, Fibonojji nigga. There you go. Then he went all dark on me. Beautiful. Hey, even this is beautiful. I told him, I said, you just look like a good-looking man. I said, I even like pussy. Of course, that's him laughing. You can't see it. You got to just trust me. There you go. That's the final picture, 2805. Now, here you go. Talk about juxtaposition. There's a Dorothea Lange moment. Who's Dorothea Lange? Google those. If you call yourself a feminist and you don't know who Dorothea Lange is, just call yourself full of shit. Here you go. Let me see if I could do this. 2805. And then we start here. This is where we started. Closing time. Beautiful surfing the Animas. Can you believe that you could surf a river in the beautiful Durango, Colorado? And what's really interesting about it is you can really get good at it. Eddie would go. You're like, Eddie would go. Is he talking about the ESPN 30 by 30? There you go. Here's Eddie. Here's him going. Like, I totally don't get Eddie would go. But just Google ESPN 30 by 30 and just think of frame 28. You're like, Jonathan Fibonojji, that's the best intro in the whole world. It's 5 minutes. I think Jerry Seinfeld was wrong. I totally don't know what you mean by Eddie would go. Here you go. This is him going. Guys, I'm going to Hawaii. I hate to tell you that. I'm going to Hawaii. I feel it. Jesus is telling me Jonathan would go to Hawaii. Here you go. Beautiful. Well, by the way, if you are in Hawaii, like photographers, you got good credit. Maybe you're 30, 35. like to give back rubs. Beautiful. Like I said, good credit. Have an extra car. There you go. Jonathan would go. So literally, they're learning to surf. They're surfing the fucking river. I mean, where else in Colorado are people surfing the river? And you can get really good because you can spend as long as 15, 20 minutes. Now, there aren't waves. What's the longest Eddie would go wave? Tell me that. Somebody Google that and say the longest, and I'm talking in terms of time, was maybe 8 minutes? What's the longest wave in history? Google that and put that in your comments. John Fibonojji, frame 41. It was back there in Thailand, and you're full of shit. John Fibonojji's not full of shit. He just loves photography. So here you go. How do we encapsulate 2,800? Well, we could start with Shamu. Remember Shamu? When I saw Shamu, not only can you There's Shamu. There's a guy trying to kill Shamu, and I don't want to talk about it because this guy, he just has a thing about Shamu, and boom, and then Shamu, and then it just orca and tuna. It's just so sad. What's happening to tuna? Okay, don't say tuna because this is just another day. John Fibonojji going through 2,800 frames in less than 5 minutes. John Fibonojji. By the way, you're probably wondering, how can you contribute to this channel? It's easy. Just email me, americana417@gmail.com. You're like, how much should we put in PayPal? Well, it's real simple. Go to PayPal, put $75. I love the orca picture. Could you send that to me, John Fibonojji? For $75 plus shipping and handling, that's going to round it up to about 85 and change, 85.77, get you that print. Boom. americana417@gmail.com. Just go to PayPal. You're like, that's joke is so old. It's like tuna doing a backflip, and orcas don't live in the fucking Animus. So seriously, well, today, John Fibonojji. Oh, and by the way, if you know anybody at the Durango Herald, I've officially given up trying to work for them. It's interesting, their photography sucks, and they're looking for a finance director, and they're ignoring my resume. Holy shit. I mean, I hate to, anyway, there you go. Imagine that on the Durango Herald front page. To them, that $82. Durango Herald, if you'd like to profile any of my beautiful photography on $82. Actually, if it's $150 a print, if you like to buy it, even the Durango Herald, $150 a print. John Fibonojji, are you going to go biblical and talk about footprints? Well, maybe. I might for $97. This is a guy about to get eaten. This is very graphic. Please look away if you, boom. Look at that. Animus River, he's getting eaten. We need to pray for him. By the way, I don't know if you are following the Durango Herald on Twitter. Nobody really follows the Durango Herald because they don't have John Fibonojji. But we got to be careful in this river. There was a real life incident where a tourist passed away, and simply because he didn't have a helmet and he didn't have a flotation device. And John Fibonojji, it was one of the worst days I've had in Durango, where I saw they were pumping him CPR, boom, as the cock crows in the background. John Fibonojji, your biblical references, that's beautiful. Carl Jung, if you like Carl Jung, here's the beautiful Animus River. Google Carl Jung and the Animus River. I don't think we're going to make it, but I have to show my thrasher skills. Yes, that's me, and no, that's not me, John Fibonojji. But this is beautiful talent. Remember, one of my goals in life is to get some black talent other than Jonathan Fibonojji on the front of the Durango Herald. That is, you're like, boom, there you go, 125 Durango Herald. You can purchase this if you're a thrasher in the beautiful Durango Herald. I'm not even going to talk about Durango Herald anymore because they won't hire me as a photographer. But if you are a thrasher and you like thrasher photography, I would love to meet you out there at the skate park. Just go to Twitter, put Fibonojji, hashtag skate park. I got about $50 for you. Could you come take our picture? And I'd be sure for $50 and $48 a print. You're like, boom, would they look like that? I'm like, no, they're not going to look like that because you're not that beautiful man. Now, this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And here he is going holla. There's some holla nigga. Boom. That's some beautiful, that's the Christ right there, 13137. You're like, Jonathan Fibonojji, I kind of see what you're talking about, even though that's a very deep thought. It's 10 feet tall, 10 feet deep. I just think you need to be a little bit more modest. Maybe you should say, you're more hala nigga. I'm like, well, I didn't say I was modest. I said I'm Jonathan Fibonojji, and I'm a thrasher photographer, and there's some wonderful talent out here. For real, if you'd like me to meet you out there, $50 and $48 a print. And I'm sorry, you're going to have to learn from this cat if you want to get real good. Boom. I got to hustle. Jerry Seinfeld says you won't watch a video longer than 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So remember, Where's Ronan? Remember that video? Look at this. This is me being sort of a Humans of New York-ish, Humans of Durango. Where's Ronan? Remember Ronan, if you remember that story. This woman lost her dog, and this was her first walk after losing a companion of 10 years. And she said, Ronan is a female samurai that has lost her owner. Of course, I was so proud of myself. Jonathan Fibonojji, one more time. Getting some deuces. This is me, Humans in New York. Humans of Durango. But for $500,000 a year, I would be happy to come to your hometown and do Humans of Sausalito, Humans of San Diego, Humans, or how about just beautiful people of Durango. Look at that first day, she was literally in mourning. She lost her dog, and anybody who's lost a pet, and I was so proud of myself that I was able to bring some light and love, some joy, the day that she really needed it. Beautiful Ronan, Miss Ronan. If you know her, tell her $150 a print. Email me americana417@gmail.com. Where's Ronan? Boom. Okay, I don't think we're going to make it. Got too many videos. Of course, I've shown you the silhouette videos. You're like, we get it. You're a wonderful photographer. We understand how photography brings community together. Just like this. How did you do it, Jonathan Fibonojji? I said it's simple. Jesus. Jonathan Fibonojji. Email me americana417@gmail.com. Silhouette. Imagine your family out there. That's the most beautiful. I have this habit of naming certain places around Durango. Like I'm currently in the beautiful Jonathan. It's the Jonathan Bridge. I'm not going to share it with you because I don't want anybody taking my Jonathan place, but this is, I call this the most beautiful acre in America, in Durango, Colorado. Okay, I got to hustle. Somebody needs to retweet Jerry Seinfeld and said, all right, I watched this video. It was longer than 5 minutes. Jerry Seinfeld, you need to hire Fibonojji as your opener at the Beacon, because John Fibonojji is a guy that just likes to say his name a lot because he's marketing himself on YouTube, and he's trying to get people to buy his pictures for $150 a print so he can go back to LA, do some open mics at the Comedy Store. I'm sorry, doing some open mics at the legendary Comedy Store, Mitzi's house. And by the way, if you need a wonderful podcast, you have a couple hours you want to burn, you don't want to watch my photography, you don't want to buy it at americana417@gmail.com for $150 a print, you don't even want to show me some deuces, boom. You don't want to show me some deuces. You don't want to send me $75 americana417 at PayPal. You don't want to do that. You're like, what happened? Well, nothing. Boom, $342. You can just buy my print. So that's the plan, going back to LA. Now, first I got to go to Hawaii. I think Jesus wants me to go to Hawaii. Eddie would go. Jonathan would go. Then I'm going to do some open mics at the Comedy Store. But the podcast with Joe Rogan and Pauly Shore is probably one of the, well, I keep saying one of the best, because Joe Rogan's podcast is, the only thing better than my photography is nothing, but Joe Rogan's podcast is amazing. 482. In fact, Joe Rogan, you know how you have pictures in the background? Use that picture, put that on your podcast, retweet me at Fibonojji, say americana417@gmail.com. So, for example, the Pauly Shore, Pauly Shore is talking about Mitzi Shore and how she really developed comics, and there was a season where comedy was taken real seriously, and that there was the Mitzi Shore, and there's nobody more. I mean, there's a Mitzi Shore and there's nobody else. I mean, you know, who's the equivalent of Mitzi Shore in another industry? That would be an interesting comment. Say, who's the Mitzi Shore of, I don't know, genetics? Or who's the Mitzi Shore of electrical engineering? Or who's the Mitzi Shore of photography? Mitzi Shore is a person who helped hundreds, if not thousands, of careers. How many careers have you launched? Boom. Beautiful humans of Durango. All right, 2,800. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to have to cut this video off. It's just, it's kind of sad because, you know, there's so much talent, and, you know, there's only so many, I know there's only 24 hours, and you probably are like, we get it, you know, you're the best, and maybe we should just, you know, give you like tons of money. I'm like, yeah, that's what you should do. And then you need to email Durango Herald and say, you motherfuckers, how could you have had an opening for a finance director and have shitty photography and not hire John Fibonojji? And they're like, Jonathan Fibonojji is too talented for Durango. That's why that's me, just working on the craft of photography. But I'll tell you, this guy here, he reminded me of that, who's that comic of Beyond the Pale? Holy shit, if you want to get your photography skills going, try photographing a very pale man by the bridge. But guess what? John Fibonojji did it. Americana417@gmail.com. I'll sell that print to him for $48, but to his mother for $800,000 because, boom, 527. See, we started with goats. We found Jesus the Christ. Eddie would go beyond the pale. What other podcast is doing that? You know, in fact, if you are in the Durango area and you would like to do a podcast, I would love to do a podcast. You know, bring some kind of old school journalism back, kind of in an entertainment, infotainment, whatever you want to call it, and really use podcasting. And, you know, Joe Rogan created that genre, or really developed it. So if you have a podcast you would like me to be on, you just have to like my photography, like my jokes. You don't have to like my Jesus. Beautiful dog, 583. Okay, and then guess what? You know, I don't want to like start talking about shit, but O.J. Simpson, you can hear him in the background. He's out of prison and he's here. I don't really want to go. He's at the gallery, and of course the raven, because Jesus always feeds his ravens. 1800. Boom. And then this is Jonathan Fibonojji just doing some street photography shit. It's one of my favorite genres. This is yeehaw, gangbusters, motherfucker, goat roping. But you know what? They need love too. There's the palace. Some of these pictures don't work. Good feels good. There you go, 620. Somebody needs that. You're like, I'm just trying to understand the relationship. No, here you go. This is how you fix your relationship. A Maya Angelou quote. You're like, I don't even like Maya Angelou. Boom, good feels good. You want to know what love feels like? Love feels good. Good feels good. Remember, I have this joke, but truth in jest. It says that you can solve 90% of your problems, my problems, Fibonacci problems, boom. Photography problems. The joke is you can solve 90% of your problems with the Maya Angelou quote. So whatever you're going through, if you don't like my photography, it's okay. You don't have to buy it. But you just Google Maya Angelou, a Maya Angelou quote, and see how applicable her beautiful, beautiful purple wisdom is. You're like, are you open for Maya Angelou? Yes. Beautiful Maya Angelou. You know what? Mama Angelou, most beautiful woman. In fact, I think she passed away, I would love to have met her. Try it. Next time you're in a really difficult situation, season, be like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to Google John Fibonacci where he's talking about, and just Google and notice how her quotes align so well to anything that we go through. 481. 90% of problems. The other 10%, well, that's Silverton problems. Silverton's a whole different bag of tricks, guys. Now, with Silverton, you need more than Maya Angelou. Silverton, you need $710. See, these guys are talking. They're like, should we let John Fibonojji on the train? They're like, nope, because he's going to tell jokes and they're going to laugh way too much. They're going to get to Silverton, and those Silvertonites are going to learn how to love Jesus. And this guy's, I ain't going to let that shit happen none. Well, that's why Silverton is the way it is. And if you're not from Silverton, you're not from the Four Corners, there's a couple things. Like when you know how you go to Dallas and you go to Aspen, you know how you kind of strangely have this weird feeling that you want to have better credit. Like, ever go to Aspen or Dallas and just go, man, maybe I should get another credit card. You know, this whole place runs on credit. But when you go to Silverton, you need a firearm. And this guy is the one who will supply you. 714, Silverton Firearms, Fibonojji. Ask for the 10% Fibonojji discount. I'm going to wrap these videos up. Hope you're having a good day. I can't make you laugh all the time, but I'll make you laugh a little bit. Maybe think a little bit how beautiful life is. And tell the people that you love them. If there's anything you get out of this video, you might just want to go, you know, at video 21, 42, nigga. That's the universe's solution. The universal solution to all things is 42. You're like, I totally am tracking now, John Fibonojji. Tell me what to do. Just do what Thaddeus Golas says. He says, just love as much as you can where you're at. So just think about it. Next time you do it right now. Text somebody and tell them that you love them for no reason. Could you lift somebody's burdens for no reason? And can you do it all Jesus style? Can you do it anonymously? Send them $73. Send somebody $73. Send me $73. Send somebody who's suffering. Give a homeless person $50 and sit down with them and just talk with them and ask them what their mother's name is or what their grandmother's name is. You know, when I photograph people, I love to ask them questions that kind of gets them out of that pose place, because, you know, there's all kinds of tricks and tools, if you know what I mean. And I hate taking pose pictures. So I like to ask people, tell me what your grandmother's name is. It always makes them think of something fondly. Who doesn't love their grandmother? I love my grandmother. God bless. Frances Moselle Russell. Put that in the comments. What's your grandmother's name? Tell her you love her. Go take a picture with her. Hashtag MRA. What the fuck is a hashtag MRA? Well, remember, this is the real story of parenting. It's the guy working a full-time job, got the pack, carrying the kids. It's only in the New York Times. That's where you get all that chick tome. We're like, we're so hard to be chick. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what's really hard? A full-time fucking job and being a parent. And then when you act as a single parent, holy shit, John Fibonojji is taking a picture of orbital rock, 763. Maybe that's your J loves R. I don't know who that is. John loves Rebecca. That's my mom's name. She's Becky too, but I love Rebecca. And that's not even me, that's somebody else, 766. I tell my mom, she's watching this video, that I love her. Rebecca, I love you. John Fibonojji. What's your mom's name? Go tell her why you love her. Or maybe you just have a good friend. Notice that friendship is one of the rarest things now. It's a picture of authentic laughter. Two chicks with giant hats just having a good time on the Animas River. All right, closing. You know I like photography. You know I'm doing the landscaping stuff. You get it. Thank you for taking this journey with me. From beautiful Durango, Colorado, John Fibonojji is out. If you like any of this content, leave your comments. If you like to contribute, just because you're like, hey, I'm going to send you $85, just go to PayPal, put Americana417@gmail.com. Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Remember those videos from Sausalito? That's actually La Jolla, California. Mahalo. You know, this video really, this channel started really just me being me. Jonathan Fibonojji, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. That's a book I was named after. John loves Rebecca. That's my mom. We got to close out on some Hemingway. You know, we're right at minute 4, minute 5. Of course, you're like, what? People really do surf this fucking river. Beautiful river. And sometimes Ernest Hemingway will show up. Well, that's not him, but those are the angels that were with him. They asked not to be photographed. The CIA. I don't want to go into NSA disclosures, but anyway, why Ernest Hemingway has a CIA angels, I don't know either. But I do know that you can fucking surf a river. Jonathan will go. Eddie will go. Here you go. Got to close out with Ernest Hemingway. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Leave your comments. Drop me some PayPal. If you're around the Durango area, you want to be a second shooter at a wedding. Perhaps you would like me to just do some old school family pictures. Took a picture of this beautiful, beautiful angel in the river, her family, 886. It's kind of an impromptu family photo. Thought she looked adorable. Of course, holla, big brother. I said smile. He's like, no, I'm not smiling. I'll be happy to be a second shooter at your wedding. Maybe you want me to come tell some jokes at your church, or maybe some. Boom. There you go. This is me practicing for my second shooter. Remember, I don't do Bridezilla, but I love being around people and bringing my love of photography. So, close out on that. 906. Nope, you can't close out on 906. Close out on 907. You guys be good. Thank you for taking this journey with me.